Fear not, denizens, Parade is here, aka the bringer of rain, aka father of the sea and sun, aka king of the core. And today we are giving you the initial review of Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. Yes, I watched it tonight. I just got back and driving home, I wanted to give my thoughts, my initial thoughts about this movie. Spoiler free, at least to start. I'll warn you guys when you get into spoilers. But please, to help me out, please drop a like, comment, and possibly subscribe if you like seeing this dumb mug on your screen and talk about movies. I was planning to see this movie tomorrow, but it's Thursday. I'm about to be Friday, but Thursday. And I said, you know what? Maybe I should just go see it tonight. And I'm glad I did, because I highly recommend this movie. This movie was a great time. If you're here just to hear that part, watch it in theater. Where does it line up with Mad Max Fury Road? It's pretty close. Not gonna lie, pretty close. I love Mad Max Fury Road. I went into Mad Max Fury Road when it came out blind, and I kind of went into this movie blind. I only saw one trailer and didn't really look at any news or watch any trailers. I knew that Chris Hemsworth was in it, figured he was the bad guy, and Anya Taylor-Joy was playing a younger Furiosa. And that's all I knew going in. So some other non-spoiler things, they do flesh out the world. That part was cool. The things that you were kind of wondering about, places and some of the lore in this dystopian society, they talk about. So very happy about that. Action is great. George Miller, he knows how to make these movies. Super creative, really beautiful to watch on the big screen, but I do kind of like Fury Road a little bit better. Acting wise, Anya Taylor-Joy, fine job. Chris Hemsworth steals the show. I would have loved to see Chris Hemsworth as a titular hero, but he actually does a really good job as the villain. And I know there was some chatter that him and Immortan Joe, like, are they going to be different? Are they going to be the same? They feel very different throughout the movie. I actually missed Mad Max in this movie, surprisingly. I didn't think Tom Hardy or Mad Max really commanded the screen like Charlize Theron did, but what he put into the movie I actually missed here. So let's get into spoilers. Spoilers, if you haven't seen it, again, pause it here, like, comment, subscribe, come back and watch my quick spoilers on this movie and talk a little bit deeper about this movie. Aaliyah Brown, she plays a younger Furiosa, the youngest Furiosa that we see on screen, and I liked her quite a bit. I think she did a great job. I probably could have watched the rest of the movie with her. She brings that innocence, that childlike innocence, and you're like, oh man, there's a lot of creepazoids and weirdos in this world, and you're like scared for her. Once they switch to Anya Taylor-Joy, that's still there, but it's alleviated a little bit less. And that's one thing I have a problem with this movie, because it's a prequel, right? So it happens before Fury Road. We know that Furiosa survives in Fury Road. The one thing we're like, okay, when does she lose the arm? So the whole time I was like, when is the arm going to come off? It was kind of like, I think it's Hot Tub Time Machine, where someone has a hook for a hand and they're like all like anticipating his hand to come off in the past, and they're waiting for it. And I was doing the same thing in this movie. Like, oh, is this where she loses her hand? Oh, this is where she loses her hand. I don't know if you would enjoy that as a viewer. For me, it was a little bit amusing looking out for that. But the three actresses who play Furiosa all feel a little bit different, and they bring something different to the role, and I actually enjoyed watching them. I think Anya Taylor-Joy, if we're saying she played a young Charlize Theron, I think she did a good job. She did a pretty good job here. Again, Chris Hemsworth, man, he steals the show. And I thought it was just when you're watching Avengers and he's with the Guardians and he's stealing the show, then it's just Chris Hemsworth's a great actor. He just brings a lot of charisma to the screen. The scenes he's in, he's commanding presence and everything surrounding him, and yeah, he's that dude. Chris Hemsworth, that dude. So watching him in a villain role like this, I don't remember too many that I've seen him do. He's great. He's great. So when I mentioned not having Tom Hardy, I was pleasantly surprised to see Tom Burke's character, and he kind of fills that piece that I felt like I was missing, Praetorian Jack. I really liked his character in this movie. I liked the relationship that him and Furiosa had, him as a mentor and somewhat of a love interest. That really worked for me. And he was really cool. Like, great driver, great shot with a gun. and kept his composure. He was cool, calm, and collective, and I was like, oh man, this guy's awesome. He's kind of like your Mad Max, but without like the chaos and the violence, the unhinged violence that Tom Hardy brings when he plays Mad Max, or at least in my interpretation. Tom Burke really, I thought I really liked him and would love to see more of. I haven't seen like most, I don't think I've seen him in really anything, so that was the first time experiencing him on screen, and I think he really did a good job. It's interesting because I think it's Yahya Abdul-Mateen was supposed to play that role, and I think they would have both probably brought a little bit of difference, and I'm not sure how Yahya would do in the role. I'm not saying he would do a bad job, but I'm curious what he would have brought to this role. It was just scheduling conflicts, if you're wondering. That's why he was in the cast as well. Going back to fleshing out the world, we do see the green place, and that was pretty cool. Just a little taste of it at the beginning, not too much big spoiler thing, but that was nice to see it in existence. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm curious why they can't find it. I wish there was like some other explanation for it. Maybe like an oasis or cliffs or something. Gastown they showed a bit of. I wish I saw a little bit more. I wish we spent a little bit more time in the places, Bullet Farm and Gastown, just a little bit more, because you still get a taste of it and you get more than you did in Fury Road. I wish we could have just spent a little bit more time like how it's functioning there. I still could use more. I could still use more. And this movie covers, I think they said 15 years, but it felt so quick, and it's really hard to kind of match up the years within the movie because it's not like they're giving dates or anything. But it is broken up into chapters, and you can kind of surmise or guess how many in between. But I didn't know. It wasn't until at the end of the movie she's like, it's been 15 years, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, there you go. Another thing about this movie, they cover a lot of dark things. And I've seen a lot of dystopian stuff, and it felt like new, it felt like new dystopian stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is really dark. But they bring it up with the comedy. And sometimes it feels ham-fisted with the funny. But again, I think because the themes are so dark and the things they're doing is so crazy and heinous that you kind of have to. So yeah, I think if I had to score it, I like a 20-point scale because I like to do 0.5s. But I think I give this movie a 9 out of 10. And I probably give Mad Max Fury Road probably a 9.5 or a 10. But I take off points because it is a prequel and we know where Furiosa will be by Fury Road. Again, it's hard to say that the stakes were low because even in the scenes where there was action and she was involved, I felt like something bad would happen to her. So that's actually really good. So I'm giving it points for that. I think I'm taking off points for, there were some times where the CG looked a little weird. Like it looked like the volume or the lighting was a little off. There was something about it where it's like, this is not, doesn't feel natural. The background didn't feel natural, or some of the shots felt a little bit too CG. And it kind of takes me out. Like I'm about the story, I'm about immersion. So I felt like, I was like, when I'm watching something, I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't feel super immersed in those moments. Action was still good, intense, creative. Now, the creativity of watching cars on a straight road and the vehicles that they bring in and the action that they bring in, it's awesome. There's like flying vehicles and parachutes and propellers, and it was pretty cool. And you'll know it when you see it, or if you saw it already, you know what I'm talking about. George Miller and the team really did a good job coming up with something. It actually felt fresh from Fury Road and different. Even though, again, it's prequel, there was, not just motorcycles and cars, there was other things, and the way they're attacking. Soundtrack's great, music's great, but I felt like there's also, it's just like a little less, just a tiny bit less intense than Fury Road. And I'll ask Eli what he thought about that, because I don't know if it's just me, but there was other scenes that were intense. It's just, again, it feels in the same world, just the same, little bit different. And I think I'm going to give it to Fury Road this time around. But great movie, a 9 out of 10. I mean, come on. That's great. I really like this movie. I love Fury Road. I think this movie is pretty fantastic. That's where I'll leave it right now. Again, subscribe, because me and Eli will be doing a full review on Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. Get a little bit of Eli's take, maybe expound the more I think about it, because again, I just came out of the movies, drove home, decided to record. And if you like what you see here, please consider subscribing, like, comment. That helps the channel out. We're growing, about 30 subscribers right now. If you want to help support, find a shirt on raincoreclothing.com in the description below. You can follow me on Instagram at raincore, REIGNCORE. With that being said, I hope you guys have a mad day. Punch it, Chewy. Boom!